The people across North Carolina are very hardworking, resilient people. They're very prideful people, and they're very private. They're going to try to be as self-sufficient as possible. North Carolina's #1 industry is agriculture, $91 billion. If we don't take care of the people who turn agriculture in our state, North Carolina's economy is going to be in dire straits. My name is Robin Tudor Markham, and I'm the director for the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute. Our mission is to promote the health and safety of farmers, fishermen, foresters, their workers, and their families.
There's Nick. He was our very first foster kid.
I told you about we were playing with dandelions. Then I threw the stem at him, and it stuck right between his two front teeth. He just started laughing so hard I thought he was going to pee his pants. My name is Richard Hordeski. We live in Creston, North Carolina.
We've been married 35 years.
I do a lot of things. I'm a farmer, I'm a carpenter, I tend bar once in a while, and I help out the neighbors. And most of all, I'm a dad. This is green. Go back 3 nodules. 1, 2, 3, right there.
Richard, he does a lot of the caregiving with our son. He's teaching him how to do carpentry and how to prune trees.
This is the way it should look, Jermaine. It should be like next to nothing. Vicki and I have been parents our whole lives.
I couldn't have children, and so in order to get our kid fix, we did 19 years of therapeutic foster care, 12 kids.
12.
Not all at once, but 2 or 3 at a time. We just got hooked. We adopted our daughter, and almost 19 years later, we adopted our son.
We've dedicated our whole lives to kids.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
And we were really good at it. Trying to teach Vasily how to ride a bicycle in the snow.
Yeah, well.
My dream for the kids would be to leave them the farm. We mainly have fruit and berries, and it's all organic. There's so much involved in keeping this place up and running. I mean, you're constantly here, and there's no one else to do it. I have to do the pruning and the mowing and the harvesting, and it's just a lot. But that's what grounds me, so I love doing that aspect of it. I don't have insurance, for one, and most of the accidents on farms happen from equipment, especially tractors. So I try to keep away from most of the things that would hurt me. I'm careful at what I do. But I've discovered as I age, things don't work as well as they used to. I do jobs on houses around here that a lot of people are aging, they're older than I, and they don't want to climb a ladder. But it's always there because once you get hurt, if you get hurt bad, there's no way to get that fixed. And anytime we have to go to the doctor, it's a payment system, and it takes years to pay it off. If it gets real serious, everything's in jeopardy. Everything we worked for, we're living on the edge.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't take much to push us over the edge.
Well, in my family, I do have heart disease. My dad had a number of heart attacks. My mom had a heart attack and a stroke. My uncles, my dad's brothers, cousins have all had heart disease. So it is a concern. I've thought about it a lot. If I find myself in that situation, I kind of think, as soon as you get in that ambulance, the meter starts running on the bill. Something like that would throw us out of budget, and then everything we worked for would be up in the air. If I had a heart attack, would I go to the hospital? The more I think about it, I think I wouldn't do it. If I went through all that, racked up that huge medical bill, and then died anyhow, it's like, now my family doesn't have nothing, and here I am dead. And I don't like that feeling. We've done nothing but take care of other people our whole lives. I wouldn't want to put my family at risk of not having a place to live.
That kind of decision, it's hard to imagine. Because we've had such a partnership.
People think that agriculture in North Carolina is commercial and that all farms are ran like big companies. The reality is that 97% of our farms are family-owned and operated. So these are self-employed people who are making a minimal profit, so that makes health insurance even less affordable to them. They make too much to qualify for Medicaid, but not enough to be able to afford private health care insurance.
My name is Emma Childs. I live in Fairview, North Carolina, and I work at Root Cause Farm. This farm has been around for 11 years. Some folks in the community noticed that the Fairview Food Pantry had no fresh produce at all. And so some folks who had a love for gardening decided to start a community garden. And this past year, we grew about 10,000 pounds to share with the larger Asheville area. In farming, we joke there's no such thing as an average day. But our days here are very much framed by what we're harvesting and what partner organization we're working with, the pantry being one of them.
Hey, sweetie. I'm Walt. I'm Emma's dad. I would consider myself a fortunate man. I have a lovely wife who's a nurse. We have two lovely girls. Emma is 27 and Claire is 25. What's the project of the week?
Yeah, well, we had our first hard frost this week.
Emma has always been a delight.
So this is row cover.
Working in the land, working with her hands, being outdoors, being around animals, she glows.
Pull them up. So this way they don't get caught by the frost.
This is her wheelhouse and her passion, and thus it has always been. Emma's physical issue began, she was a perfectly normal second grader and had a fall and had a concussion. She had an MRI, and I will never forget, we went to the front desk and they said, you need to go to the ER now. 2 days later, she had brain surgery.
I had a craniotomy for an arachnoid cyst, which was basically a fluid-filled cyst that was pushing my brain over to one side.
So the doctor went in and basically opened the cyst so it would drain, which eliminated the pressure and the problem, but it's like a sponge that never really refilled.
So in here, these are the giant... There is just this anxiety of like, what if something happened, or how do I need to be more careful? So that comes up when I'm farming too. I was on my parents' insurance until I turned 26. Medicaid is not currently an option for me because I'm young and working full-time and don't have any kids. And private insurance has not really felt like an option because most of the plans that are out there would be close to, if not 100% of my monthly income. Farm accidents happen all the time, and that definitely sits on my mind because financially, I mean, it would wipe my savings and beyond, like so far beyond. And then I think about my family because I know that they would want to help in whatever way they can, but I can't quite even imagine the implications for their life.
Sometimes in the dark of the night, when you're awake and you're thinking about your children, you worry about things that can happen that would be life-changing. A medical emergency can be life-changing. You can end up with a debt that is onerous or just weighs you down to the point it changes your future.
Because people who work in agriculture do not have access to health care and affordable health insurance, many times they ignore serious things. So that by the time they get to care, the spot on their face from working in the sun may have turned into melanoma, or their hypertension has turned into a stroke. So things that could have been taken care of quite simply with preventive care have now become catastrophic and possibly life-threatening.
As a dad, I want to see my girls have access to affordable health care.
I can't imagine doing anything else. My knees on the ground, my hands in the soil. Like, what else would I be doing?
People in the Medicaid gap live everywhere. They live in every city, in every town. These are our neighbors, and we need to care for people that we live with. My name's Jubilee Brown. I'm a gynecologic oncologist in Charlotte, North Carolina. I see a lot of women in my practice who may be working multiple jobs, trying to take care of their families, but they don't make enough money to have good healthcare insurance, yet they make just barely too much for Medicaid, and so they fall through the cracks.
My name is Adrienne Hayes Singleton, and I'm a lead teacher at Noah's Ark Children's Center in Wilmington, North Carolina. Being in the profession that I work in, we teach the babies. We have those children for the first 2,000 days of their life. It's our job to make sure that they have the basics that they need to be able to be successful preschoolers and on to adulthood. Keeps him safe and warm all throughout the night.
She is by far the best teacher that I've seen. The parents love her. She's like that breath of fresh air when you see her. When I first met Adrienne, I was nervous because she was a minister. She is the love of my life. She's important to everybody. She's a wonderful person. She will give you the shirt off her back. My name is Tyshawn Singleton. I'm the husband of Adrienne. Adrienne will be in the camp where she does everything she's supposed to do. She works hard, but still can't get help.
3 to what?
5 or 4.
Yeah, we've been actually.
Yeah.
She has diabetes, and she takes care of it with her diet and stuff like that. But still, what if your blood sugar goes so high and you need to go get insulin? What if you do cough up blood, but you can't afford to get it checked out? That plays a lot in my head. You know, with my wife, if she coughs, I'm worried.
My sister's name is Sharon. This is her. And that's me. My sister, she passed away from colon cancer in January of 2017. I was there firsthand to see what she went through and was literally watching every step of the way, all the way to the very end. So that's one big thing that worries me the most about my health. My sister was, she's amazing. She was the person I was with 24/7 all the time. She was a hard worker. She owned her own hair salon, and even though she owned her own hair salon, she didn't make enough money to afford private insurance, and she didn't qualify for Medicaid because she made too much money. I do believe that if my sister had insurance, that she would still be alive today.
I think there is a specific section of society that is impacted the most by the lack of healthcare coverage and the difficulty in obtaining Medicaid. Those people tend to be hardworking people who just don't make enough money to have private healthcare insurance, and they make too much money to qualify for Medicaid.
I've always had some kind of thoughts about, whether or not cancer would, come to me because of the simple fact of my abnormal pap smear. It's like, even if it goes to the next step, then I'm at stage 1 for cervical cancer.
Cervical cancer is 100% preventable, and no one should die from cervical cancer. We see women who are faced with, should they get their cancer care, or how are they gonna buy gas to get here? Women who make decisions about their lives based on how they're gonna pay their bills, and the coverage gap is a huge factor in that.
All I have to do to get it from getting to that point is to get a quick laser outpatient procedure that I can't afford without health care. My life is dependent on other people right now.
They don't seek care because they don't have coverage, and by the time they see us, it's too late to save their lives.
Right now, my diabetes is under control through diet and exercise, but who's to say that it's going to stay that way? Right now, my abnormal pap smear is just an abnormal pap smear, but who's to say that it's going to stay that way? Closing this gap means that if it does go the opposite way, then I will be able to afford insulin, which is very expensive. which means, if the abnormal pap smear was to go the wrong way, then that means I will be able to afford to get the treatments that I would need or any surgeries that may come with that. Closing that gap means better health, not just for me, but for everybody else who's standing in that gap that needs to be closed.
So we see Medicaid help patients all the time. Women who come in with early cancers, they can be cured. Every woman who gets health care through Medicaid benefits from that care.
A lot of us have no insurance. Stop playing with our lives. Let us take care of each other and not have the stressors of not being able to take care of ourselves if we get sick.
There's people dying without the preventative care, without care in general. If they don't get the medical care that they need, we lose people.
If we do not take care of the health of the people who turn agriculture, our farms, our logging operations, and our fishing is going to disappear. And our entire landscape is going to look much different.
I think my parents are proud of me, and I think it's the questions they encouraged me to ask as a child, the curiosity that they encouraged, that has led me to this path.
My wife and I would both love for our daughters to be fulfilled, to be healthy and content, and to serve others, to have community, to be stable. Emma talks about work that is life-giving.
Farmers weed and farmers dig and cultivate and work non-conventional hours. Farmers feed people, but somehow, mysteriously in that process, we are also fed. That's what keeps me coming back.
Across the board, North Carolinians are kind and polite. They will give you the shirt off their backs. They would do anything for you. And they're incredibly welcoming. I went into healthcare to take care of people and not just wealthy people.
I can't afford to get sick. Closing the gap would mean giving me an extended lifeline. Closing the gap means that I can afford to get preventive care. I feel like at this moment, they're playing God. That's the only way I see it. A lot of people are going to die because they won't be able to get the help that they need. If I'm not there to take care of my children, who's gonna do it? I am asking you to give me a fair playing field to get it myself. And I feel like, that's a lot of people in North Carolina. Nobody's asking for a handout, but I am asking you to make it fair so I can reach the same level that everybody else is able to reach. That's all I'm asking for.